Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Glass. So Glass is the follow-up to Split and Unbreakable, which are two movies that are basically like 20 years apart, and this one comes out also very far away from Unbreakable, but only 2 years after Split, and it continues on with the story of this man who is extremely strong. He has never been sick. There was a huge train accident that killed hundreds of people that he didn't die on. And he starts investigating this guy who seems to have 24 different personalities. And one of the personalities is the Beast, who's a super strong guy who can climb on walls. And they are both locked up in a containment chamber, and they are told that that their belief that they are superheroes is actually a mental illness. And also there is a guy played by Samuel L. Jackson who's something Glass. I know his last name is Glass because it's the name of the movie. And he has been in there for a while. He has a very intelligent brain, but a very fragile, crippled body. I was looking forward to Glass because I'm not the biggest M. Night fan, but my favorite M. Night movie by far is Unbreakable. I think that movie is great. And I liked Split. I didn't love Split, but I did like it. And I went into Glass expecting not something great because the reviews weren't great, but I was expecting something at least good, at least entertaining, that maybe would provoke some thought or at least have some sort of interesting structure like most movies by M. Night do, but unfortunately, Glass was a gigantic disappointment. When it comes down to what's wrong with Glass, I think it's pretty simple. I think that it had to do with where M. Night was at with this movie. If you think about it, Unbreakable, he had no expectation on him. He was just some director who just made The Sixth Sense, which everyone liked, but they're like, it could be a one-hit wonder, you don't know what he's going to deliver, and then he delivered a great superhero movie. Split came years later, after he had made a lot of disasters. He just made The Visit, which some people liked, and then he made Split, and people liked it. And then he made this, which is kind of reminiscent of back when he made The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs, which was alright, and then he started devolving into all these really bad movies, and it's because there were newspapers coming out about him being the next Spielberg, and that pressure was on him, and you can tell he doesn't work well under pressure, because when he was pressured to make a great movie, he tried too hard to. The movie just has too many ideas. It has too much going on, and at the same time, it's not doing enough. What I loved so much about Unbreakable and what I liked about Split was that even though they were very much arc plot type movies that moved in very, structured ways, they still provoked a lot of thought. And they still had structures that were slow paced but very methodical and still slow paced and entertaining. That's a hard thing to do. Have a slow paced movie and be still very entertaining. It's hard. And M. Night is very much able to do it, and that's what he tried to do with Glass, but that pressure was on him. He had the pressure of delivering something that could be entertaining and slow-paced and messy, but in a good way, very complex and very emotional and very thought-provoking, and it was just too much for him. Glass really doesn't try to provoke any thought. It doesn't leave you with too many questions. The twist in it isn't one of those twists that sticks with you. It's just kind of there, and it doesn't really make you have a whole lot of questions about this movie. Glass isn't really going to provoke any filmmakers type of conversation. People aren't going to look at the filmmaking craft behind it because it just doesn't have many ideas that it's trying to express. And I think the biggest disappointment about this movie was the twist, because the best M. Night twists are the subtle ones, like Unbreakable, where he admits to the fact that he's invincible. Nice subtle twist. And The Sixth Sense, that's also, that the main character in it is dead. Those are two big spoilers, but everyone's seen those movies. To know that is it's great, and to have it be so subtle to the point that you can't really tell right away, but when you realize it, you're like, oh, this is what this movie is trying to say. It's amazing. And Glass's twist is very, very flashy and in your face and telling you the message, and I didn't like that. I still think the performances were good. I still think that there's parts of this movie that are really good, particularly a scene that they showed in the trailer, and it's on the poster with the three of them sitting, and there's the person, the therapist, I guess, or the psychiatrist right there, and she's asking them questions about why they think that they're supers, and I thought that was incredible. I thought that scene was great, and I was like, man, if only we could have more scenes like that in this movie. Glass is just a big disappointment. I don't think M. Night should have so much pressure on him. I don't think people should expect him to deliver so hard, because when they do, he ends up crumbling under the pressure, and unfortunately, this is another case of that. I will give Glass a 4 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Glass. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what do you think of the Unbreakable trilogy? Comment in the comment section below, and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.